Hello everyone, it's Helen from Journaling Planet, and today we're going to make some fussy cut tags. This is, I don't think, the most ingenious of ideas, but I haven't seen anyone else do it, and I thought it would make a change from the usual kind of tags that we make. So I've got some old book page here. This is part of a children's dictionary that I found in a thrift store that was obviously going to get pulped if I didn't. This is harvested from a magazine, this image. I have some things that I've already fussy cut from a flower catalogue. So that was just going to go in the bin. Another magazine image here. This is from Daphne's diary. It was pre-cut. That's why it looks so clean and sharp. And these are impressions I made of my own ink stamps. This one on a receipt and this on a piece of brown paper. So I'm going to talk a little bit about making the tag as a whole. Though it's hardly a rocket science process, I'll just walk you through it. To begin with, I'm going to just, I quite fancy making a tag out of this penguin. I think it would make a really good Christmas tag. So I'm just going to roughly cut around the penguin to begin with. We're going to talk about some fussy cutting tips and, how you can get the sharpest lines. Fussy cutting is something that I'm a little bit better at than cutting straight. So first things first, I'm sure you're all aware that you do need scissors that have a sharp end for the best fussy cut. I learnt this on an art course I went on, a collage course I went on, and sharp end does make for a better fussy cut. And then what we're trying to do, I'll just show you as up close as I can without kind of, making it unclear what I'm doing. I'm keeping the paper as far back in the scissors as I can, so it's not coming anywhere near the point of the scissors. I'm keeping it far back where the two different parts of the scissors meet. And for me, you can cut straight up to the line if you want to, but I like to have a little border around if there's some white space, because then I can ink that, or, it makes it just stand out a little bit if you're using it for collage, whatever. So hopefully you can see that I'm going quite slowly, but I'm barely moving the scissors. I'm mostly moving the paper, and I'm keeping the actual paper far back in the scissors, nowhere near the point of the scissors, okay, all the way to the end. Barely move the scissors, and that's a really nice clean cut, okay, really nice clean cut. And then the same on the other side. I'm going to keep the paper right near the middle of the scissors, away from the tip. I want to keep the paper turning, not the scissors. Turn the paper as I need to, keep the scissors where they are. Go pretty slow. Doesn't matter if it takes a little while to get the cut that I want. And then just keep going. Just very small cuts with the scissors, barely moving them up and down, just really letting the blade do the work, and not really, there's no effort from the scissors, or there shouldn't be. It is mostly turning the paper, letting the blade cut through, minimal pressure. Okay, that is the best way I've found to get a decent fussy cut. Turning the paper, always turning the paper, not the scissors. Keeping the paper right lodged deep in the scissors, not towards the point of them. Okay, no matter where I'm cutting or what I'm cutting, always right back here in the scissors. That's where I'm keeping the paper, like lodged right between here. Okay, that's my penguin, and it looks really nice. And what I'm going to do now is, conventionally speaking, I would normally put this onto a tag and, you know, put lots of things on it and embellish it. But for this fussy cut exercise, I'm just taking a piece of packing paper to back it. I'm making quite a thin tag. If you wanted to make a thicker, sturdier tag, you could use some stronger card or paper, and that would be fine. Okay. For me, I'm okay with thinner tags, so I'm just backing it on a piece of packing paper. This is very much akin to the kind of Christmas tags you would get on your presents at Christmas. We're just going to press that down. And again, I have a choice. I could fussy cut very close around the bird, or I could leave a little brown border. Just depends on what I, you know, want for my tag. I think in this instance, I am going to leave a tiny little border, just because I would like to either put some ink or some watercolor or something on there. So I'm just going to follow the exact same process as when I was cutting out before. Only I might not cut quite as neatly around the feet, for example. I might leave a little bit more brown paper showing there. So I'm just going to speed this up. Okay, there's my penguin and the little penguin baby. On retrospect, I don't know if I'm going to put any paint on it. I'd maybe like it as it is without putting any further paints on it. So in which case, when it comes to making these fussy cut tags, I just have to find a place to punch. This is the sad part. I have to find a place to punch through the lovely image of the bird, which is maybe, you know, not preferable. If you don't want to punch through the image itself, you can leave a little bit more brown paper. I'm just going to find a little place to put my hole in this lovely image. And then it's just a matter of finding a little bit of lace or string. And I thought, what, instead of going, or ribbon, instead of going for the gold paint in this instance, I would actually just use a little bit of thin gold ribbon. This came off the inside of a jumper that I had. You know, the things that you tie your, you're supposed to tie to coat hangers. Yeah, I don't do that and they're useless, so I decided to use them. This is mentioned in my top 20 resources for junk journaling that are free. I've got a video on that, you know, 20 free things, supplies that you can use for your junk journal. And this is one of them. So just to show you that I do use the things that I recommend that you use, I am going to pop this through here and double it up, and then I think this is a very cute tag for a Christmas junk journal. And if I wanted to, I could have done an eyelet, of course. I'm trying to keep these things simple and easy makes, but if you've got eyelets and you want to put eyelets in, by all means feel free. You've got some journaling space on the back there, a little note maybe, or if your handwriting is very small. I just think that would make such a cute addition to a Christmas junk journal. Okay, that's quite a small one. We'll do one more small one, and then I'll go up to bigger sizes. I'm going to fussy cut around this large image here, these two students. So again, this is from an old book page. I'm going to use exactly the same method as I did before, and I'm going to speed up the process. Okay, whilst I was on, I also took the liberty of cutting around this. I'm sure that'll come in handy for the project. I just really liked it. But this is the one the one about the zodiac that I was really interested in. I fussy cut around that. It's not going to be perfect machine cutting style, but it's, you know, as close as you can get it, I would say. I'm just going to glue around the edge. Get some glue in the middle and then stick it onto the packing paper. So between the packing paper and the book page, this is all reclaimed materials. In that last tag, I used reclaimed materials from like my clothing. So this is really a good eco journaling project in terms of being eco-friendly. And it's a nice, quick and easy project if you don't want to get into something too intense. If you just want something that's relatively easy, straightforward. And some days I really do want that, because the whole reason that I do junk journaling is to, well, to help the environment, yes, absolutely. But also, you know, to manage the difficulties of my husband's cancer diagnosis. So some days I don't want the biggest challenge. I just want something straightforward that's not, you know, that's just going to go my way. It's not going to be difficult. I can make something relatively straightforward. Sometimes crafting doesn't go my way. Sometimes crafting doesn't go any of our ways. It's just the way it is. I'm really going through glue stick at an alarming rate. That's what I've noticed. I would like to have like a jumbo glue stick. That's massive. If you know of one, let me know. So that's that. And then a lot easier to punch the hole on this one because it's not like an animal, so it doesn't feel quite so inhumane. As I said, with the other one, you could just leave a little bit more brown paper at the top if you don't like the idea of punching a hole through an animal. And who does? Nobody likes that idea. So that's that. And again, a little bit more journaling space. It's a thin tag, but I think sometimes I think we just put a little bit too much. Oh, I've got this thread that will work in the same colour. A little bit too much bulk in our journals, and having these thin tags, I think, is a good thing. I think it actually helps us keep the bulk down in our journal, and just makes things a little bit easier when it comes to binding it all together. Okay, how fortunate that this thread perfectly matches the image. I mean, the odds of that are slim. Just use what you have. The gold thread would have been fine. Black thread would have been fine. You know, anything like that would have been okay. If you want to, you can go on to further embellish these with marks or ink or whatever. And in fact, I think I will just ink around the edge of this one. Just because, really. Just because. Just add a little something, give it a slightly more grungy feel. I'm going to start a tarot journal at some point, so this will be a wonderful addition to that journal. There we go. That's lovely. Just works really, really well. Okay, so that's that one. And we have our little penguin. Okay, so that's the two we've made so far. All right, let's go for something a bit bigger. I think it's time to up the ante a bit. I have to say, these children, they slightly freak me out. I don't think they're supposed to freak you out. There's something, I don't know if it's because I'm from Britain, there's something about Victoriana children that just slightly freaks me out. Anyway, enough of my hang-ups. Let me cut this out and I'll speed up the process and then we'll see what we've got. So This is the kind of tag that can double as a journaling spot. It is a big tag. It barely fits in shot. So there's plenty of writing space on the back. Separating them would have looked weird. I did contemplate it briefly, but then realised just how weird he would look. So we are going to, actually I'm not sure if that's a he. Might be two little girls. So let's just glue this down and then cut around it once more. It didn't really feel like it was worth getting the bone folder out for those tiny tags, but with the one this size it definitely is, and just have to make sure that all the edges are glued down as well as they can be. Here at the bottom their feet are kind of being a bit recalcitrant, so I'm just going to do that. So this is a good project if you enjoy fussy cutting. Some people don't enjoy it. This is kind of strange to me because I find it very relaxing, especially, I'm going to just put my Captain America movie on and I'm going to just relax and just, fussy cut some stuff out. That to me is quite a relaxing evening. But to some people it's not. If it's not, then obviously this project is not really for you. Because not only do you have to cut out the image, the original image, you have to then go around again, as I'm about to do, and cut around the paper. So you can probably save yourself this process by backing it before you cut around it the first time. However, I like to see exactly how much brown paper I am leaving behind, and I can't see that if it's just backed on a book page, so I prefer to do it this way. It's going to speed up the second cut. Okay, so that's how it looks when it's all finished up. Just go on the back and just get any glue air bubbles out of it. Just get it looking as flat as possible. It will look even flatter once the glue has dried and set. But yeah, just to do that and make it as flat as possible. Luckily, unlike the penguin, this little lady is wearing a hat, so I can punch through the hat without any worries about having to punch her in the, in the face, which sounds worse than it is. I don't wish to punch anyone in the face, just for the record. Any kind of punching as well. So that's just going to go through there. It's a large journaling spot. I'm probably going to ink around the edge, but I'll probably do it in a slightly different colour. I'm thinking to match their rosy cheeks, I might do some warm lipstick just around the edge. So I'll quickly do that before I top the tag. I kind of love how that looks. That's really wonderful. And so now I just need some kind of, I know what's going to go well on this. I've got some quite thin lace. I do think that this project calls, not so much this one because it's bigger, but the smaller ones call for quite thin toppers, I think. Just because they're small, but this one I can get away with a slightly thicker topper. And yeah, lace is going to look really good with this, with the sort of Victoriana kind of feel to it. Just pull that in. Try not to rip the paper, which is why using an eyelet is probably better. Just let the lace kind of cascade around them in, true Victoriana style. Do it that way around. And then, yeah, it's a bit more natural. There we go. So I think that looks really cute. I was a bit freaked out by this pair when I first looked at them, but actually in isolation with the fussy cut around them, I think they do look a lot cuter now. Slightly less startling on that stark page. So that's that. And then I'm just going to do a few that I've already pre-cut. So let's have a look. We'll do this lady, we'll do this fruit, and which of these should I do? Oh gosh, yeah, I've just scattered fussy cut flowers everywhere. Maybe I'll choose this one too. I know it's a slightly bigger tag with a little bit more writing space around it. Remember, these are just from a catalogue. The lady stamped onto a receipt, the back of a receipt, and this was the back of a. I'm not actually going to back that because that's just nice paper that you could write on. It's a bit thicker than the others, and it's not busy on the back, so that could just be used as a tag as is. And thankfully it has a helpful little place at the top to be to be punched through, and just a little bit of the gold I think will work quite nicely. This is a very easy project, especially if it's pre-cut out of a magazine. And there we go, cute tag for a summer journal or a fruity journal, whatever you may be making. Right, let me back these other two and cut around them, and then we'll look at everything that we've made together. Okay, that is both of those fussy cut out, and I have left a little bit more brown paper around this lady, and I have left particularly more at the top so that I can cut through that without cutting through her face. And I've left more around the edges so it doesn't look too weird that there is a big brown piece of paper at the top. So that was the idea behind that. There we go. Sometimes my punch really dislikes it when there's glue everywhere, which there is right now. And we'll just punch through the top of here. There we go. Okay, so the last thing to do is just to finish these off with a little something. I'm liking this little bit of lace for both of them. I think with the lady it'll have to be something else because it's quite delicate. So I don't think it will take this lace. It'll probably be a bit of the mustard thread that I was using earlier because it's quite thin. Reinforcing that with an eyelet wouldn't work because it wouldn't be able to hold the eyelet, unlike some of these other ones that are much stronger. So what I would say is that you could put if you were worried about it, you could put a whole reinforcer over it. Just for demonstration purposes, however, I'm just going to quickly top the tag with this thread and show you what it looks like. I'll probably go back later and reinforce the whole with something, even if it's just a little bit of washi tape around one side, for example. But yeah, I will probably go back and reinforce this whole, but just for demonstration purposes right now, I'll just show you what it looks like with the thread. There we go. I think maybe a bit of ink wouldn't go amiss, excuse me. Maybe we'll go for red lipstick again. Why do I keep calling it red lipstick when it's called worn lipstick? Worn lipstick, Helen, that's the name of the product. See? Sometimes I do not pick the right words, which is a worrying thing given that I write books for a living. It's all much better when I'm writing, honest. That's why I write. I communicate much better when I'm writing. Okay. That's looking good. Yeah, I really like that. That really pops. I'm not sure about ink on this one. Maybe just to be safe, just a little bit of vintage photo around the edges, and then we'll call that sort of done. Okay, so this project hasn't taken very long. We've got this gorgeous tag here. Maybe I'll just see if I can smooth out the back a little bit. There we go. It will smooth out even more as it dries. Flowers. Victorian lady. Fruit. What else have we got? Oh yes, our Victorian children that barely fit in the page. Slightly bigger journal will be needed for that one, methinks. The zodiac and the penguin. I just think that doing a few tags this way breaks us out of always sticking with the same tag shape. You know, we use tags like this all the time on gifts, and I think in our junk journals they would make a really interesting addition, diversify the way our pages look, and also it's a fun, easy project that you don't really need to think too hard about. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I certainly enjoyed all the fussy cutting, and I look forward to seeing you next time.